Alright all, hello, I am back with another video on travel restrictions. This time I am making a video on how to travel to Iceland. So I travelled to Iceland last month and obviously I successfully got in. Iceland's rules are pretty confusing, so I'm hoping this video will make it a lot easier for you guys if I just explain all the things you need and what gets checked where. So now all of my other videos are on entering the UK. I do have much more knowledge about entering the UK than I do other countries, so just bear with me on the knowledge I have. I will do my best to answer the questions you have, but like I say, I know more about the UK rules than the Iceland rules. So feel free to comment below any questions you may have. You can also tweet me. I'll put my Twitter up here. And I will try my best to keep this video updated because obviously the rules do constantly change. I will try and put updates in either the description or I will pin a comment, which should be the top comment you see. So if you are watching this a while after the video came out, then I do recommend you check the description and the pinned comments, as I will try my best to post updates on there, and also my Twitter. And as always, please do your own research in case things have changed and I have not got the chance to put a little update in. Also, as always, anything I do mention, I will link it down below. So everything I talk about, any tests I mention, will all be linked down below. So just check the description for all of that. And just quickly on what this video is, so it's going to be for those who do not live in Iceland and who do not have ties with Iceland, as those rules are slightly different. So this is only if you don't have residency in Iceland and you don't have any ties to Iceland. This is also only going to be if you're fully vaccinated or if you've recovered recently from Covid-19. So let's get on with the video. So let's get on what you need to enter Iceland. So to enter Iceland, all travellers are allowed to visit if you've either been fully vaccinated, meaning 14 days have passed since your second dose, or if you can provide proof of a recent infection in the last 90 days. So for the vaccine proof, this is like all the criteria. I'll probably put it this side of my face. This is all the criteria that must be on your vaccine certificate. If you are from the UK, the COVID pass is fine. This is what I used. Now, there has been an update on this rule since I travelled. So it says, from the 1st of February 2022, a vaccination certificate is valid if no more than 270 days, aka 9 months, have elapsed from the primary vaccination when an individual has not undergone a booster vaccination. So basically, this means that if you've only had the original 2 doses or the 1 dose of the Johnson & Johnson, the second dose must be within the last 270 days. Unless you have had a booster. If you've had a booster, then that discredits the statement above about 270 days. So if you've had your booster, you're fine. If you haven't had a booster, you need to make sure that your second dose was no more than 270 days ago. You will obviously have to prove that you've had both of these. So, other than proof of vaccination, what else do you need? So, you will also need a negative COVID test. Now, this must be taken within 72 hours of departure, and it must be either a PCR or antigen test. Something else also to note, this cannot be a self-test. So it must be taken in person in like a clinic. Personally, if you've seen my other videos, I always recommend taking an antigen test. This is just because you get your results generally within an hour, so you don't have to worry about them not coming back in time, because PCR tests can take between like 24 and 72 hours. So antigen tests are just safer. They are also generally cheaper, so again, I really recommend you take an antigen test, but if you'd rather take a PCR test, that's fine. So in terms of this can't be a self-test, that means like you can't take a test at home. You have to take it like in company of somebody else, or they have to do it for you. So when I travelled with my family, we used Collinson, and again I will link them below, and a discount code. We used the drive-through testing site that they have at Stansted Airport. Now these are accepted since the person is supervising you and they do it for you. You just roll down your window and they do it for you. The test was a reasonable price. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'll put it in the description. And they have locations everywhere. They have them pretty much at most airports and even places in London. Again, if Collinson aren't offering them at your airport that you're travelling from, then there are definitely going to be other companies that are offering them. So you can take this test at the airport right before you check in if that works for you. Just make sure you have enough time to get the results and check in. If it does work for you but Collinson isn't available at the airport you're travelling from, there are other companies that do this also. So it's definitely worth a Google. I will also link some other companies below too, with variety of locations at a decent price. So now Iceland is different and they do have an exemption for this. So this is what I used. I did not take a COVID test because I was able to opt out of it. So you do not need to show proof of a negative COVID test if you've recently recovered from COVID-19. So if 14 days have passed since the original infection and you are within 180 days, you do not need to take a test. But there is a but. You must be able to show proof of this from a PCR test. So you have to have had a PCR test that came back with a positive result to be able to get out of taking a test. So like I said, this is what I did. I was actually unfortunate and tested positive on Christmas Day. Luckily I wasn't travelling to Iceland until basically a month afterwards. So now, being from the UK, if you test positive on a PCR test, it shows under your travel COVID pass, and that is totally okay to show. That is what I showed, and like I said, I got in, they accepted it, so that is fine. If you're from a different country, just make sure you have a result that says that you tested positive for COVID-19, the date, the type of test that it was, a PCR test, and obviously your name and stuff, and you should be good. And then there's one more thing you need to do. So finally, you must complete their pre-arrival form within 72 hours before departure. From what I remember, it's very similar to our passenger locator form, just filling in all your details and stuff, but it did get a bit tricky towards the end, as you do have to upload pictures of your passport, your COVID test, and your vaccine record. These then must be validated. When I travelled with my family, none of ours were validated. I think only our passports got validated. And from what I've read, it was quite a common thing that this often happened to most people. It's nothing to worry about, don't worry, it's normal. It just means that they need to check your documents when you arrive. But I'm pretty sure they check everyone's documents anyway. And then when you complete the form, you will get a barcode, and this barcode is all that you need and is very, very, very important, so make sure you have that with you. So that should be everything you need. Proof of vaccination, a COVID test, unless you've had COVID in the last 180 days, and the pre-arrival form. Okay, so where and when do they check your travel documents? Now when I travelled, they checked our documents multiple times in multiple places. I do recommend that you print everything for ease. You can show everything on your phone, but then it can sometimes get tricky and time consuming finding every document, and something might not work or a system might go down, and it can just get very stressful. Whereas if you have everything already printed out, you can just hand each document to the person. Okay, so my experience when I had to present each document, now it can be different based on airline, location and personnel. So I flew with EasyJet from Gatwick. When we got to check-in, the lady checked our passport and our vaccination proof. That was it. So that was all that was checked at check-in. Checked in, went through passport control, all fine. When we got to the gate, they checked that we had the barcode from the pre-arrival form, and then they checked our negative COVID test. Now, I showed the previous COVID infection form because, like I said, I could get out of that with the exemption, and the man did look very confused, and he was like, is this accepted? And I explained that according to the government website, this can be used instead of a test. That's what it says. And he went to grab some book to check, but then he took a look up at the line behind me, and he just let me go through. So I don't know if he was supposed to check or whether he just trusted me or whatever. But I was probably in the middle of the queue, so clearly this isn't something that people do or know about or just don't test positive for COVID. But anyway, he let me through and we boarded the plane absolutely fine. So that was it in the UK until we got to Iceland. So when you get to Iceland, at passport control, all you need to show is your passport. It seems like they ask you a question or two. I was asked how long I was staying and who I was travelling with. So just answer those truthfully, they stamp your passport and let you in. We then walked through to collect our bags. Now everyone does have to walk to the baggage claim in order to get to the exit. So I recommend in the baggage claim area at this point that you have all your documents ready, as there's a huge space to just get organised without blocking the way or holding anyone up. So just if you have everything on your phone, just make sure you have everything open that you can easily show, or if you have them all printed out, just make sure you have them all in your hand ready to go. So from the baggage claim, right as you leave and enter nothing to declare, they ask to see the barcode from the pre-arrival form. They literally just glance at it and then they let you through. Thank you. So then you follow the walkway and you will get to a line of desks. When you get to the front, they will signal you over to a desk. I did try to record some of it, you can kind of see. I'll play the video probably after this. So the first thing they do is check your passport and scan the barcode of your pre-arrival form. They then ask for proof of your vaccination. They check those documents. And then they ask for your negative test. So obviously if you've had a negative test, you hand that over. Again, they didn't mention the exemption, but I did say to the man that I have proof of infection instead, and he seemed surprised that I knew I could do that, but he checked it, and then he handed everything back to me and let me through.
Hi. Yes. Yep. This is my passport. This is my vaccination one, and there's another one here. And then that's the vaccination, and I have proof of recovery for the test. Thank you very much. Thank you, you too.
So once you're past that point, you have successfully entered Iceland. So like I said, it is confusing, but make sure you have everything with you that you need and make sure everything is in date and you should be fine. Like I said, the COVID pass is easy if you're from the UK. If you're from Europe, the EU certificate thing is also fine. So thank you all for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe if this video helped. As always, please try to stay up to date by checking the links below. Feel free to comment any questions or tweet me and I will do my best to reply as best and as quick as I can. And then yeah, stay safe and happy travelling.